guys, today I'm going to teach you how to make your very own 3D slinky cuffs, just like these. They've become very popular in the community because of their diversity and how big or small you can make them. So let's get started. For this tutorial, you will need string 0.7 millimeter or larger, scissors, pony beads of various colors, I chose 3, a cylindrical item that you can place your cuff over so it keeps it straight. I chose to take a couple mint containers and tape them together. It worked very well. With some cups it could work as long as they didn't taper on the end. And as an optional choice, you can use pom-poms or other kind of accent bead. A slinky and super glue of your choice. Firstly, we need to take your cylindrical object and place your X-base cuff over the top of it. It should be at least 3 X's high. Depending on the size of slinky that you're using, you can make your X-base higher or lower. Tie your string onto the first row and string into that first connector bead on your first row. So our goal is to get into the middle of the cuff. So what we want to do is make sure that we find the connector bead directly in the center right there and string through diagonally till we get there. Make sure as you're going you pull your string tight. Add on 1 bead. You can add on a pom-pom here, or you can add on any other kind of accent bead. I prefer pom-poms, so that's what I'm using for this. You're gonna add on another yellow bead, pull it tight, and then put it off to the side. Now we're gonna glue the slinky. This is gonna be the most difficult part of this entire cuff. Take your super glue and add it to one end of your slinky all the way around. I tend to like to glue at least 3 sections of the slinky together. So if you match up the cut ends together, it'll make one solid ring. So I like to try to get at least 3 solid ones together. You might have to clamp this. It's going to be kind of difficult, but once you get the hang of it, it'll be easier every single time. Some people actually like to tie string around that or other various things to try to keep it together, but I've never had a problem with just super gluing it. Now on to the second hardest step of this entire cuff. So what you're gonna have to do is put the slinky on top of the X-base cuff. Make sure that your beads and your pom-pom are in between 2 of these sections. And what we're gonna do is take that point, go into the other connector bead, like you would with any 3D making a point. But we're gonna go around 2 or 3 sections of that slinky and we're securing it to the cuff with the points. So it's gonna suck because the slinky's gonna slide, it's gonna be really difficult, it's gonna be really frustrating, but I guarantee you, you can do it with a little bit of perseverance and they come out excellent. It's always the first one that is the most difficult to do. Sometimes moving the slinky out of the way helps to be able to get to the beads. So just remember that can help you. And then pulling your string tight each time you make a point is absolutely crucial because that's what's going to keep the slinky from moving, and the more of these points that you get, the more stable it's going to be and the less it'll move on you. Now it's time to add on our next section of beads. It's going to be 1 yellow bead, 1 accent bead, and another bead. Make sure to pull that tight. Once you have your new beads, make sure to go through at least 3 or 4 sections. And then in through that middle connector bead. As you can see, I put the slinky on the ground for this one. It helps sometimes with the alignment. So just make sure that, you know, your beads are staying underneath the slinky while you're working on it like this. And continue to add these all the way around. Once you've added on your final beads, we're going to string through that final connector bead. We're going to pull it as tight as we can and make sure to tie off as tight as you can and pull everything very, very tightly. We don't want this Slinky to move at all. Make sure that you get it all nice and situated and it's not too bunchy and it's exactly how you want it. So we're gonna string up now the same way that we did when we first got the cuff, but this time it's the opposite. We're going straight up to the top to a top level connector, just like so. Now we're going to start on the cage. You need to add 2 of your base color beads, a connector bead, and 2 more base color beads. We're going to pull it all the way down the string and into the connector bead in that first row right next to it. So we're creating more points just like we did with the yellow beads, but this time it's going to be at the top. Add on 2 more base beads, a connector bead, and 2 more base beads. String into the very next connector bead on that first row and do this all the way around. For our next row of points, we're going to do 3 base color beads, a connector bead, and 3 more base color beads. So we're adding an additional bead onto both sides to make these points bigger so they can start to curve around that Slinky. And so we're going to connect the connector bead on the first row, which is purple, and we're going to put this yellow points in between those purple ones to continue coming around the cuff. So again, we're going to add on 3 more base color beads, a connector bead, and 3 more base color beads to do that next point. Continue this all the way around the cuff. For this row, we're going to add on 4 base color beads, a connector bead, and 4 more base color beads. This is going to go from the connector beads on one yellow to the connector beads on the other yellow. And this is going to be the biggest of the points that we're making for the cage of the cuff. And again, we're adding on 4 base color, 1 connector, and 4 base color. Continue this all the way around the cuff. At this point, we're going to have to tie it off. I like to make a loop, put the tail end through that loop, and pull it tight. Because after we finish this row, we're going to have to flip the entire cuff over, and we're working on the opposite side, making points on that side as well. So we're starting at the first row like we did before, where we're adding on 2 base color beads, a connector bead, and 2 base color beads. Once you have finished the first and second rows on the other side of the cuff, we're going to finish that third row that we had 4 base color beads and the 1 connector bead. Well, this time we don't need connector beads. All we're gonna do is string through the connector bead on the previous point that we did. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna make that X that is what we use for the cuff cage in this case. So you add on 4 more beads, go through the point of the yellow point, and you're basically zigzagging, stitching these 2 pieces together so you have one combined cage. Do this all the way around the cuff and then tie it off and you're done. Congratulations, you made your very first Slinky cuff. I know it was difficult, but you did it. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please rate, comment, and subscribe. I put out new videos weekly. You can check out my latest video here, or a playlist of more advanced tutorials.